YouTube was produced by Korean migrants living mainly in Sydney, Australia, to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the foundation of South Korea on the 15th of August 2018. The event was held by a group of patriotic Korean Australians called NASA, Korean Australians Association. On August 15, 2018, NASA members gathered together to celebrate the 73rd anniversary of Liberation Day from the Japanese occupation. More importantly, we gathered to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the founding of South Korea, known as Constitution Day. Approximately 100 Korean migrants living in Sydney gathered together on this day to mark these anniversaries at the McIlwain Park, Rhodes, New South Wales at 11 a.m. The event on the 15th of August 2018 is significant for two reasons. Firstly, on this day, we held a rally to deplore and denounce the many corrupt, disruptive and illegal activities committed by the Moon government. Secondly, on this day we want to celebrate our Constitution Day as the Moon government denies the celebration of the 70th anniversary of our Constitution Day. This is because on the 15th of August, both Koreans and Australians celebrate the end of the Second World War in 1945, after Japan surrendered unconditionally to the USA-led Allies. This day is considered by all Koreans to be a very significant event in Korean history, in particular as we were liberated from 36 years of Imperial Japanese occupation. That is, the entire Korean peninsula was under the control of Japan from 1910 until the end of World War II. Three years after 1945, on the August 5th, 1948, the first Republic of Korea was established in the south by Dr. Syngman Rhee, who was elected as the first president. The country's first constitution was promulgated by the First National Assembly on July 17, 1948, and August 15, 1948 was declared as Constitution Day. The UN approved South Korea as a fully independent nation as it claimed sovereignty over the entire Korean peninsula. Hence we commemorate this day as our Constitution Day. However, the new government denies this day as Constitution Day. This is because, like North Korea, the left-wing people believe April 11, 1919 is Constitution Day. During Japan's occupation on 11th of April 1919, the so-called Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea, PGRK, was established in Shanghai, China, under the leadership of Kim Il-sung. However, after our liberation, the PGRK was dissolved on the 15th of August 1948. Therefore, NASA demands that South Korea must restore our identity, proclaiming August 15, 1948 as our Constitution Day. Because of the fact that the left-wing government is in power, sadly, the Korean Community Association in Korea does not celebrate August 15 as their Constitution Day. (8/15/2018) ceremony. Mr. Baek Jung-soo, former Vice President of the Sydney Korean Society, conducted the gathering. Mr. Baek announced the start of the event, representing 8 million overseas Koreans, assuring ourselves of our Korean identity. This gathering is also replacing the 6th Korean Overseas Forum, which was first launched in South Korea in early 2018 by the Patriotic Elderly Advisory Association to defy the Moon government. The event consisted of two parts. The first part involves conducting the Korean national ceremony. The second part covers mainly the delivery of speeches by 6 speakers. The first part. First step is salute the flag. The group salutes the colours. I salute and pledge my allegiance to the Teguk flag. All the people present should face the flag and stand at attention with their right hand over their heart and should render the military salute. The second part is singing the Korean national anthem together. The group are singing the Korean national anthem, which includes this term. Till the East Sea becomes dry and Mount Baekdu gets worn out and songs of our allegiance, we will forever prosper with the providential help of God. Though my body dies repeatedly, even 100 times, my patriotic spirit will never pass away. We will die willingly, like the Jew, as long as our nation can survive and prosper. Third step, next pray with mindful heart for our predecessors, the resistance and soldiers who sacrificed their lives to save our country from communism and liberate our country from Japan's occupation. Singing the song composed for congratulating August 15th as our National Liberation Day. That includes these words, though my body has to die repeatedly and even 100 times, whenever I have my soul or not, my patriotic heart will never change. We will surely win. Fifth step, protest against the current government's wrongdoings, which are still being committed, by chanting the following slogans. Mr. Moon Jae-in, step down. We demand the Moon government A. Stop the retaliation policy. B. Apologise to all the Korean population for the huge waste of taxpayers' money for his many mistaken policies and regulations. C. Disclose the North Korean coal smuggling deal. D. Extend the investigation on Druking Gate until the arrest of the real body involved. 6. Declare a plea by Mrs. Kang Seung-hee, the General Secretary of our association. She reads the declaration drafted by the NASA committees. A plea to our motherland, South Korea, from overseas Koreans on the celebration of the 8/15 Liberation Day. Dearest citizens of South Korea and overseas Koreans in Australia, on behalf of the 8 million overseas Koreans worldwide, including Korean Australians, we patriotic Korean migrants in Australia wish to celebrate the 73rd anniversary of South Korea's liberation from Japanese annexion as Liberation Day, and the 70th anniversary of the founding of the nation as Constitution Day. However, as our motherland is facing the worst national crisis since its establishment, we declare the following concerns and pleas to the motherland. Firstly, we are all proud of our nation in that it was set up with a free, democratic, market economic system in accord with our constitution under the leadership of the first president, Lee Seung-man. Secondly, in spite of South Korea's devastation and massive destruction during the Korean War in 1950, South Korea's economy has grown exponentially under the great leadership of President Park Chung-hee, who contributed to Korea becoming the 10th most economically powerful nation in the world. Unfortunately, in May 2016, the current Moon government usurped power through the illegal impeachment of the previous president, Park Geun-hye. What is worse, the incumbent government is aligned with pro-North Korean policy. Examples include the abolishing the word free from the Constitution and abandoning the national anti-communist values. These amendments, without the people's consensus, have led patriotic Koreans overseas to seriously express our concerns about the fate of our nation. Thirdly, North Korea has been threatening not only South Korea, but also all neighbouring nations, including the USA, after the launch of the nuclear weapons that have been developed at the expense of 3 million North Koreans starved to death in the famine. Kim Jong-un, the heir of the unprecedented 3 generations of the totalitarian communist regime, was forcefully present in the South-North peace talks and US-North Korea summit. We believe that he puts on a peace show as he has not given up on his ambition of taking over South Korea and subjecting it to Red Communism. Fourthly, despite North Korea's insincere attitude to compliance with the agreed outcomes from the peace talks, coupled with its sinister motive, the Moon government is recently showing ample evidence of hastily dismantling and undermining many national security and defence systems. Examples include closing down the Military Intelligence Command, weakening the effective operation of the public security system, such as the Central Intelligence Agency, and attempting to hastily replace the ceasefire treaty with a vague peace treaty. What is worse, the Moon government denounced the fact of the 70th anniversary of the nation's foundation demoralising and intervening in the free business operation of major enterprises, which might result in unprecedentedly high unemployment rates amongst youngsters. The government is also trying to amend the Constitution of the nation to a more totalitarian system without due consensus and the agreement of citizens and opposition parties. Fifth, we urge the Moon government to uphold the United Nations-led agreements and policy over the Korean Peninsula, strengthened forged alliance between South Korea and the USA, while continually adopting the free market economy. Sixthly, we also plead that the government prioritises the human rights issues in North Korea and the defectors from North Korea so that these measures can lead South Korea to initiate free unification in the long run. Seventhly, the Moon government must listen to the heartfelt plea of the overseas Koreans so that the Republic of Korea can continually progress to be amongst the most prosperous and strong nations of the world. We finally believe that this would be made possible by the prompt restoration of the nation in light of its diplomacy, economy and security that have been severely dismantled so far. The second part, delivering speeches by 4 key NASA members and the advisory committee. 1. Dr. Shin Suk-hee, President of the NASA and lecturer at Western Sydney University, delivered the keynote speech. She emphasised 4 reasons why the current government has been doing destructive things: moral corruption, giving up traditional national sovereignty, weakening defence and security, and economic downfalls. She urged the government to restore and regain order for the motherland by first appreciating our predecessors and playing a key role for conciliating all people who are severely divided by President Moon's favouritism for candle vigil groups over the patriotic groups symbolised by the Korean national flag. Secondly, Mr. Cho Ki-duk, the former president of the Sydney Korean Society and advisory member for NASA, he spoke and encouraged the crowd to stand up for our nation and our national pride. 3. Mr. Yoon Soo-han, Christian pastor and NASA advisor in religious sector. He preaches reminding everyone of the past triumph in the grace of God and assuring them of the future victory with God's helping hand. 4. Mr. Peter Lim, Good Life teacher and education coordinator, NASA committee in charge of youth members of NASA. He stresses the importance of young Koreans appreciating and respecting the values of conserving our nation and having a proper understanding of current political ramifications in South Korea. He finishes his speech by leading the crowd to repeat some catchphrases. Mrs. Jung Yoo-jin, a defector from North Korea. She shared her real experience of fleeing from North Korea and leaving her son behind. Her parents used to live in Japan and moved to North Korea. She talked about the atrocities and brutal treatment received from the North Korean security. She was beaten for 1 month by being bound to a tree like a dog before her escape. She also shared her own witnessing of several severe violations of human rights committed by the North Korean government. 6th, Mr. M. Ik-tae, an advisory member of NASA. He volunteered to give his speech on the run. He is deeply concerned about the fact that South Korea is becoming a communist state following the experience of North and South Vietnam. Many Koreans are not aware of the severity of South Korea turning in a communist direction, urging all people to take this ignorance and insensitivity on board to restore our nation.
이렇게 대한민국을 만들어주시고 대한민국을 사대주의 중국에 불성하는 정말 이런 강화로 끝까지 한번 해보겠습니다. 열심히 한번 해보겠습니다. 오늘 말씀하신 기회를 준 우리 조원진 의원과 대한민국당 여러 관계자님 다시 한번 감사의 말씀드립니다. 자, 진짜 끝까지 싸워나갑시다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
After these speeches, the members shared food in a barbecue prepared by NASA committee, strengthening bonds and unity of the NASA patriotic Koreans, who are ordinary but rational and good hard-working citizens. We would like to take this opportunity to express our deep gratitude to the American and Australian governments for saving our country. We always appreciate the blood and lives of young Australian and American soldiers who sacrificed their lives for our nation as an ally. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope you enjoy the video.